Hello, folks, and welcome back to a Let's Players Chronicles. Is that what I was calling this? Chronicles of a Let's Player. Wow. First real video. I don't even know what I call my own series. In this video, I want to talk about how I found Let's Plays and how I kind of started into doing it myself. I've always been a voyeur insofar as watching other people play video games. Even when I was a kid, I enjoyed watching other people play games almost as much as I enjoyed them themselves. I used to like to go to the arcade, or later on in my early college, late high school years, into cyber cafes, and I would enjoy just sitting there talking to people who were playing games. I've always found enjoyment in watching other people play. I don't know why, but I think it's partially because I like to see how other people address the problems in the game, like how they fight, how they deal with the bosses, how they deal with regular enemies. It's just something that's always interested me. And watching other people play games on the internet started with speedruns. I don't remember how I got there in the first place, but I found the site speeddemosarchive.org, I think it is. Just search it if you haven't, or I'll put the link in the description. At any rate, it's a site that has a bunch of speedruns. Imagine that. For various games. They started off with just Quake, but they've expanded to cover pretty much every single console and PC that you can imagine. So I started watching those, and I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. I love watching people playing these old games that I used to play, or games I had never even played, and see them played well and quickly. But after a while, I started running out of videos that I was interested in watching. I didn't watch all the videos, but there was a lot of games there I didn't really care to watch. So I found out that a lot of these videos were on YouTube. So I started searching for YouTube speedruns, because Speed Demos Archive, if you're not familiar with how it works, is they verify all the speedruns to verify that there's no cheating. Doesn't always work out that way. But theoretically, they watch them, they vet them to make sure there isn't any cheating in the speedrun. So it takes a long time between when a video was submitted, keeping in mind they were submitted on VHS tapes for a long time, and still maybe they are, to the point that somebody could watch the whole thing and verify that it was, in fact, a legit run. So at any rate, speedruns were available pretty freely on YouTube, even then, which, when I say then, we're probably talking 2009, 2008-ish, I think, maybe a little later than that. But regardless, there was a lot of speedruns there, unverified, and then I found the tool-assisted speedruns, which I didn't like as much, but I watched those as well. So I just started watching lots of speedruns. And along the way, probably just because they would come up in speedrun searches, I started to find Let's Plays and walkthroughs online. Funny enough, I would actually find a lot of these videos and they had commentary, people playing the game, and there's people talking over it. And at first I was like, God, I hate that. I was like, why are you talking over the game? I don't want to hear you talking. I want to just watch the game. So for quite a while, I only watched videos, basically Let's Plays that didn't have commentary, which nowadays we call those long plays. So if you're just FYI, if you're looking for a game of a video and you don't want commentary, they're generally called long plays. But at any rate, I actually specifically avoided videos with commentary for quite a while. And I don't remember when I first started to think, hey, actually some of these with commentary are pretty good. I probably found somebody who was really good, and I was like, okay, wow, this is actually pretty interesting. Probably one of the very first people I subscribed to, somebody like 666 The Heartless, Manga Minx, Necroscope, Kakoskia, somebody like that is probably who I stumbled upon. I was like, you know what, this is actually really well done. So I slowly started to make the transition from I hate commentary to I pretty much only watch videos with good commentary. And I watched them for a long time, and I finally thought, you know what, I would actually like to try my hand at this. But I'm not going to do commentary. I'm just going to play the game. My idea was I wanted to play the game and edit it in such a way, play it and edit it in such a way that the person watching didn't have to be into that game or understand the game, but it would be more like a movie to them, so that I wouldn't have unneeded deaths. Maybe probably not any deaths at all. I would find all the hidden secrets without dicking around. I just went straight to them. I went straight to the boss. I always knew the right strategy. So I'd have to play the game, several times ahead of time just to make sure I knew it thoroughly. And then I would go back, record, and splice out all the saving and everything like that. So it would just be one continuous video, or one continuous, I guess, demonstration of what the game looks like if you don't make any mistakes, if you don't lose the bosses, if you don't get lost, if you don't have to try to find the puzzle pieces, things like that. So that was my idea, and my very first game was actually Wolverine Origins, which I only had on the Xbox at the time, and I used a Dazzle to capture it. And I actually had those videos still on another channel. I don't even remember what that old channel was called. I think it was Malika. Anyway, I might link it so that you guys just can see it. So my idea with that game in particular was know where all the dog tags were. There were dog tags with the hidden items. And just, again, play it through, no deaths, and not necessarily no damage or anything, but just, again, to show off the game, see what it looks like. So again, somebody could just sit down and watch the whole thing just for entertainment purposes, or just to see where the hidden stuff was. I didn't finish it because I love Wolverine Origins. That's one reason that I picked that game, because it's a game that I knew I could play over and over and over again and not get bored with it. I didn't get very far. The Dazzle was okay, but the quality just wasn't there. This was before 720p was a big deal. It was around. It had been around for a little while, but it wasn't like as important as it is now. But I still just wasn't happy with it. The quality was not there. I was not happy with it. So I stopped recording that, and that's around the time that I decided, you know what? My YouTube name is like Malachi571 or whatever it was. I'm like, that's not good. So if I want to do this, I'm not doing this. I'm scratching my head if you're wondering why I'm randomly doing this. I thought, well, okay, that's not a good name. That's not a good YouTube name. If I'm going to change it, I need to do it now before I got an audience. But even then, I had, maybe 10 subscribers. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to lose my 10 subscribers. But I was like, screw it. I need to change it. Which is funny looking back. I mean, right now I'm at like 2,600 subscribers, which still is not a lot. But looking back, it's funny to think I didn't want to change it because I didn't want to lose those 10 subscribers. But I did it, and that was one of the best things I did, was to change the channel to Vertigo Tea Party. And just very briefly, the term Vertigo Tea Party, a few people have asked me that. I've had that name for a long time, before WoW was even available. I wanted my own WoW guild, and I played EverQuest 1. So I wanted a WoW guild. I wanted it to have a really cool name. I've always liked the term Vertigo. I think it's just an interesting term. It's one of those words that just sounds good. And the reason that name stuck in my head was not the Alfred Hitchcock movie, but Vertigo from a fighting game called Primal Rage. Look it up on YouTube. It's pretty old, but I really like that character, and I was like, Vertigo, that's a great name. So it always stuck in my head. And the Tea Party part, I also like Alice in Wonderland. I like the whole mythos, or if that even counts. Regardless, I've always liked the Alice in Wonderland thing. And Vertigo, if you're not familiar, Vertigo is where you feel very, very dizzy and disoriented. It's not a specific scientific description, but in a nutshell, that's what it means. And I thought, well, that kind of goes together. Sort of, kind of, but not really. So I was like, well, how can I tie these things together? And, one of the coolest, most well-known scenes from Alice in Wonderland was the Tea Party. So I was like, oh, okay, let's go with Vertigo Tea Party. It has nothing to do with the Tea Party movement, I promise. But it just popped in my head one day, Vertigo Tea Party. I was like, oh, wow, that's a cool name. I'm going to stick with that. So when I made a channel, it was very easy to decide what the channel name would be. Though one thing I did not think about was that when people reference me, they'll call me Vertigo, or they'll call me VT, they'll call me Tea Party. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of weird. I'm not That's not really supposed to be my nickname, but that's neither here nor there. So anyway, I made the new channel. I warned you this was going to be boring to most of you. Only a sick few of you will find this interesting. At any rate, I did change the channel name, and for those of you doing Let's Plays, if you're at that point where you're thinking about making a new channel because yours is Bob Smith 7685321 ! Change it. Trust me, change it. It's going to make it that much harder for you to get popular if you have some bizarre name. Obviously, it works for some people, like SSOHPC. I don't even know what his real username is. You know who I'm talking about. It worked for him, but I'm telling you, it's going to be harder to get popular that way. So anyway, I did make the new channel, Vertigo Tea Party, but I had the same mentality of I'm going to play this game, and somebody who's not really interested in games necessarily could sit down and theoretically find this enjoyable to watch. So I started playing BioShock 2 again with no commentary, and what I would do is I'd play through a section once to kind of learn the layout, learn the fastest way. Even though it wasn't a speed run, I would actually tend to go everywhere and find where all the recorders are, and I would try to figure out the timing so that I was always doing something, right? So I'd pick a recorder up and time it so that the recording stops around the time I got to a new recorder or got to a new area or got to a new fight, something like that, so there wasn't a lot of downtime. So then I would play it one or two more times to make sure that I have my path and all correct, and then I would start recording. So minimum of 3 times for every single section of BioShock, and then I would go through and splice the sections together relatively seamlessly. So that went on for a little while, but then I thought, and I didn't do commentary either, even though I liked commentary at the time, because I thought, well, nobody wants to listen to me. Like, I don't think I've got a good voice for this. I have a hard time, especially if you go back and listen to my old LPs, which I strongly suggest you don't. I have a strong problem with multitasking. I get very focused on one thing. And you can tell that if you watch some of my initial videos, because I will go long stretches where I just don't talk because I forget. Well, and one, I was not used to talking to myself while I play. But I have a hard time doing both, which I still have a hard time doing it. I'm getting a lot better just by practicing over and over and over again. But I have a hard time, multitasking. So I didn't bother trying because I thought, well, I'm just going to be terrible at it anyway, and nobody wants to hear my voice. Though, funny enough, and I've never thought of it this way, one of the compliments I often get is people like my voice when I'm LPing, which always struck me as odd, but okay. I take the compliment well. Can you take it well? Anyway, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this thing. I'm going to try doing commentary. So I think the very first thing I tried was I did streaming, and I did like Dead Space, or not Dead Space. I did Dead Rising. I always get Dead Rising and Dead Space combined. Dead Rising 2, and I did a little Fallout New Vegas, I believe. I did a lot of streaming, and I actually have the New Vegas files somewhere on my hard drive, one of my hard drives somewhere. One day I might upload them as a bonus thing for people who are interested. But they're not very interesting. So I'll kind of draw this to a close when I got to my very first real Let's Play commentary uploaded to YouTube, and that was Dead Space 2. I played it. I think I started the day it came out. I was streaming, and I recorded it and in fact, you can see the little streaming window if you go and watch it, which please God, don't watch it. Which I know some people are like, oh, now I'm going to go watch it. But seriously, it's garbage. Like, I went back and listened to some of it, and it's trash. I mean, some of my commentary was funny, but the audio's awful. Oh, man, I said bitch like every other word. Oh, it was driving me insane. But regardless, it was my very first LP, and like I say, it sucked. The audio, I mean, I learned so much, and that's what I think is really cool about Let's Playing, is going back and listening to your old content. And yes, it's cringeworthy, but it's nice to say, okay, I've come X far. Now, obviously, if you start off better than I did, then you're not going to have that problem. But I can go back and I can identify areas that are better. The audio quality is better. The commentary is a lot better. It's a lot more consistent. It's just overall a better experience for the user. I don't have a bunch of white noise in the background. Things like that. I've learned what to cut out. Well, I've gotten better at this. Let's put it that way. I've gotten better at learning what to cut out and what to leave in. Even though I do leave in most of it. In a game like that, I probably even wouldn't cut much now. But anyway, it's a great LP to watch if you want to find out what not to do, I think. But yeah, that should be it for this video. That's how I got into Let's Playing, both watching them and doing them myself. Thank you guys for watching this series. Again, I don't expect many people to enjoy this, but those of you who are actually watching it, I hope that you do enjoy it. Thank you for watching. That's a lot of watchings, and I will see you next time. I hate talking on camera too, because I'm so incredibly awkward. Anyway, thanks, and bye.